In this container are 800 sacks of sugar bound for France, weighing a total of 22 tons. But the brown sugar inside isn't so sweet, because it's combined with cocaine, making the substance virtually undetectable when using traditional screening methods. It's February 21st, 2022, on loading bay 12 in the port of Cartagena, Colombia. 14,000 kilometers away, in a shopping mall in Dubai, Monde finishes his lunch. He gives the restaurant, the Café de Paris, 5 stars on Google. It's an oversight on his part, because Monde is suspected to be one of the coordinators behind this international cocaine trade. Using leaked documents from the French and Colombian police forces and open source research, Le Monde investigated this French cocaine smuggling network, able to reveal its innovative, but sometimes clumsy, approach. To understand how this story began, we need to go back to March 2020. It's the midst of the COVID pandemic, and France is giving out financial aid to companies who have been affected by the lockdown. A French company called Undetectable asks the French government for €124,000 in aid, a sum justified by the size of its workforce of 42 employees. But on closer inspection, the company has no online activity, and the LinkedIn profile of its director is empty. Public documents reveal that the real Christian S. used this signature when he set up his car-for-hire company in 2019. Nothing like the signature, which uses the same name used to create Undetectable. French government investigators were becoming suspicious. A year later, they found that the company had no employees and paid no social security contributions. Investigators quickly realized this sham business was not an isolated case. A vast network of shell companies was uncovered. Le Monde was able to track down 18 of the 19 companies identified by the investigators, as well as 17 more companies also associated with their directors. Their articles of association, available online, show copied and pasted legal documents and a number of cases of identity theft, not always so well disguised. In several of the documents, signatures have been overlaid with white, and the name of the actual director appears when hovering over the area, signed with an electronic signature. These shell corporations give their owners an air of legitimacy, meaning their importations seem more credible. Sebastian R., for example, set up at least 10 companies under his name. But who is he? Originally from Vitry-sur-Seine in the southeast suburbs of Paris, Sebastian R. traded directly with companies that transport drugs and managed major financial flows. During a stint in prison for drug trafficking a few years earlier, he had a key encounter with Monde. The 44-year-old French-Algerian organised luxury stays on the French Riviera and was a money launderer for several carbon tax fraudsters. Monde taught Sebastian R. the tricks of the trade, including how to set up shell companies. Once they were both out of prison, the two men kept in touch, discreetly and at a distance. Sebastian R. stayed in France while Monde relocated to Dubai, a tax haven for all kinds of traffickers and which rarely cooperates with the French authorities. Monde enjoys a luxurious lifestyle in Dubai, going nightclubbing and staying in presidential suites in palaces. And in Cannes, he could rely on his right-hand man. Nabil S. was put in charge of administrative tasks like logistics management, customs clearances, and email exchanges with exporters. His goal? To supply this French cocaine importer and wholesaler, Hicham B. Hicham, with his brother Kamal, is expecting a delivery of the goods in France. Based in Sèvres, near Paris, he regularly travels to Colombia, where he's established key contacts. Thanks to these connections, the trafficking machine is set in action on January 3rd, 2022. Hidden behind these shell companies, the French organization places an order with the Colombian company Construcciones del Pacífico. This company will ship the container to France. A container in which investigators find sacks of sugar supplied by a Colombian producer, Paru Frackle. Using this information, members of the Colombian network are identified and wiretapped. They reveal a vast organization, which the Colombian police had already been investigating for years. Didier and Leonardo, two brothers and the group's chemists, are at the heart of the operation. They had come up with a new method of secretly transporting cocaine by chemically incorporating it into sugar. Once it reaches its destination, the cocaine is extracted in a clandestine laboratory using chemicals. The substance is combined here, in a warehouse near the Colombian city of Cali. Virtually undetectable, the cocaine is transported via container, combined with tons of sugar. On January 25th, 2022, the shipment leaves the port of Buenaventura and arrives at the Cartagena port 2 days later. It was stored here for a month. The shipment then hits the waters again on board the Valparaiso Express on February 24th, before arriving 2 months later in the French port of Le Havre via Hamburg. Waiting for the arrival of the shipment, Leonardo and 3 other members of the Colombian group go to Spain to set up the extraction lab. They're impatient for the container's arrival, while Nabil S. and Murad D. cause delays and make mistakes. Their import of Colombian sugar was incorrectly registered after they entered the wrong product code. Several carriers refused their cargo because they didn't have a certificate of origin. After multiple setbacks, the container finally left the port of Le Havre. Before having problems with the pallet truck in Marly-la-Ville, north of Paris, leaving it stuck for a few more days. The shipment finally arrives in Théa, in the Greater Paris region. Investigators had been tracking it for several months, and they had no intention of letting it go further. On May 5th, 2022, at 1:30 p.m, police surround the warehouse and circle it with a drone. Hisham B. and his brother are arrested on the spot, and the container is seized before it can reach Spain. At the same time, police raid Nabil S.'s office in Cannes, while others arrest the Colombian importers in their Barcelona hotel. Murad D. is arrested at his home in Dubai. He was released 40 days later for administrative reasons. A few days after their arrests, Colombian investigators took stock of the scale of the shipment.
Calculamos que el cargamento puede estar entre 1.5 y 2.5 toneladas de incautación.
11 people in total, including the sugar exporting company's 2 managers, were arrested in Colombia to be extradited to the US. In France, 14 others were incarcerated and charged with drug trafficking, including Adalberto Patino Pareja, number 2 of the Cordiella cartel and former member of the Gulf cartel. He is now waiting for his trial in a French prison. His criminal organization fell like a house of cards because of Murad D. and his attempt to con the French state during the COVID pandemic. Nine months after these arrests, Murad D. quietly continues his business under the United Arab Emirates sun, still leaving 5-star reviews of his favorite cafes.